we've seen the threat from foreign terrorists rise to a whole nother level. On top of that, increasingly concerning is the potential for a coordinated attack here in the homeland, not unlike the ISIS-K attack we saw at the Russia Concert Hall back in March.
Joining me now is Tennessee Congressman Andy Ogles, a member of the House Financial Services Committee and the Freedom Caucus. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. What do you make of these terrorists that were arrested and whether or not you believe there are more as part of this sting operation?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we know we have terror cells operating here in the United States of America. I've been saying this for months now, and this simply proves that I'm right. That's why I have the Send Them Back Act to deport all illegals that have come here under Joe Biden. Look, we are not safe anymore in this country because of this wide open border.
Well, the border is still open, however. I mean, you know, we are seeing this supposed, crackdown on illegals, and yet the New York Post is reporting that the administration has, quote, released 72% of migrants who illegally crossed into San Diego since President Biden's so-called crackdown. I mean, what are we doing? Is this just all politics, or is this an actual effort to secure the border?
Well, Joe Biden's executive order is a joke. It's laughable when you look at all of the exceptions that are included. You know, the devil's in the details and the fine print. It really doesn't move the needle at all. And meanwhile, we have terrorists who have literally walked into our country. We're supposed to be a sovereign nation. We get to decide who comes in and, quite frankly, who has to leave. But Joe Biden has flooded our country with illegals and with terrorists.
But why is this allowed? Todd Pyro, jump in here, because I don't understand why there's absolutely no accountability. We just arrested 8 people with ties to ISIS. What are all the open border Congress people saying about this? Where's the administration with the mea culpas here?
Well, and that begs the question, if the administration changes, Maria and Congressman, great to speak with you, will this change? Because I understand that President Trump said in a second term he would not only shut down the border, but he would do mass deportations. My concern, Congressman, is there anything he can do to eliminate the terror threat? Because as you well know, all it takes is one bad actor, and we have thousands of people that we know nothing about that have receded into the darkness of our nation, never to be heard from again.
2 million gotaways.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, the world is less safe today. You look at Ukraine, Russia, China, Taiwan, you look at Israel, et cetera, but the homeland is not safe as well. So I think Donald Trump, President Trump, is going to have to start a systematic deportation. He's going to have to get these people out of this country. And look, I'm not going to, sugarcoat this. This is going to be a challenge. This is going to be difficult. But at the latest poll, 62% of Americans say they think those who came here illegally should be deported. So the American people support it. The American people understand we're not safe, and Joe Biden is guilty of any blood that is shed because of these terrorists.
Well, I mean, how does he go on about any executive order to actually secure the border when right now there is a second executive order being considered, which would basically open a pathway to citizenship for almost 1 million undocumented immigrants who are married to U.S. citizens? I mean, he's waiting, and we're expecting a second executive order on that any day.
Well, again, it just shows that his executive orders are laughable. This is politics as usual for the Joe Biden administration. They lie and they obfuscate. But look, you have Democrats in battleground seats that are screaming, please do something, because they're in jeopardy. This is why this issue alone is going to allow Republicans to win the House. We're going to win the Senate, and we're going to win the White House. And Democrats know it. They're in trouble. Joe Biden's numbers are in the basement, and we're going to take this country back, and we're going to have to deport these people.
Well, why do you feel that way? Because we've had all these expectations for the last several elections, and it just didn't materialize. Remember the red wave that was coming?
That's right. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, the red wave that didn't happen. I think that the circumstances on the ground are different today. We've got great candidates. When you go look, Donald Trump had a rally in New Jersey with 100,000 people. Again, not Tennessee, not Georgia or Florida. In New Jersey had 100,000 people. You can feel it out there that the American people are ready for change, and they want Donald Trump.
Adam Johnson.
Congressman, you just mentioned the red wave that never materialized, and I would argue that was because the Democrats, 2 weeks before each of the past 2 elections, pulled out the abortion card. Is anybody talking about abortion? Because that seems to have disappeared from the conversation at the moment.
Yeah, no, I think that's a valid point. I think that was a huge issue in this last election. And I think in pockets of the country, it might still be an issue. But again, when you look at the southern border, when you look at crime across the country, and, this current economy is literally affecting people's pocketbooks, their ability to buy groceries and to buy gas. And so this is going to be a pocketbook type of election, and that favors Republicans.
What do you make of the Hunter Biden guilty charges, all charges in his federal gun trial? A former Hunter Biden business associate spoke with Fox News Digital after the verdict. He said in a statement on Background that the trial was a distraction from the, quote, main event with their influence peddling. Congressman, your thoughts? We are waiting on an official report from the House Oversight Committee, but was this a distraction?
Oh, absolutely. Look, obviously, we always need to pursue justice. With that being said, the Biden crime family is guilty of taking tens of millions of dollars from foreign countries. That should be the main topic of conversation. That's what should be prosecuted and adjudicated in court. And that being said, I think it also creates an opening for Democrats to slip someone like Michelle Obama in here. The Biden family can say, hey, we're going to take care of our house, we're going to take care of our son, and then allow Michelle Obama to come in and run. Because, again, Joe Biden can't win this election, and they know that, and they are desperate for another candidate.
I got to tell you, I am increasingly thinking that Joe Biden withdraws from this race by the time November 5th comes along. I am buying into what you're saying there because I agree that the Democrats are desperate right now. They are very worried. Former President Trump is going to be in Washington this week. He's meeting with both House and Senate Republicans tomorrow while he's in D.C. for a business roundtable. Will you be there?
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there with Donald Trump, the president. I was with him in New York at his trial, and I'll be here with him when he visits the Hill.
He's expected to meet with Republicans at the Capitol Hill Club tomorrow morning and invited by House Republican leadership. But I want to ask you what you want that conversation to look like. Are you talking about a GOP governing agenda? Are you talking about Trump's potential for winning in November? What's the conversation priority?
For me, I'd love to see and hear what his first 100 days are going to look like. I know, I was with the Speaker and Steve Scalise just last week, and we had that conversation of what does the schedule look like in this first 100 days. A lot of people will ask is why as House Republicans do we put forward legislation, great legislation, by the way, that we know the Senate won't take up. What we're doing is we're setting the stage and driving the conversation so that in January, when we win all three, we can hit the ground running and support Donald Trump.
All right, we'll be watching that. Thanks very much, Congressman. It's good to see you this morning.
Thank you.
Congressman Andy Ogles this morning in D.C.